What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Underdog Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Nolan Scan, brought to you by Nolan's Visual Media. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. It's been a week. We took last week off, but this week we're right back to it. Today's episode, what are we going to talk about? We have quite a bit to talk about. We will talk about quickly World Series. Won't go too in depth on it. I got Game 6 on right now. It's going on as I'm recording. Tampa Bay is currently up 1-0, top of the sixth, snooze fest of a game. Not like the game the other night that Tampa Bay won. That was a crazy game. And then the Dodgers won the other night. So, quickly, World Series. Next, Week 7 recap, NFL. A lot of really good matchups, a lot of really bad matchups. Won't go over the bad matchups as much as the good ones, but we will go over Week 7. Then Week 8, preview. Then, lastly, we will go over the Pick 3. Now, I didn't do it this past week, but we did do it last week. We're currently 5-1 is our record. And, yeah, we're doing pretty well. Let's see if we can continue that streak. If you didn't see my Pick 3 from the week before, it's on the Instagram. Head over. Underdog Sports Podcast is the handle. You can go over, follow us. We try to post as much as we can, but the Pick 3 did get put up on there on Sunday, so I will put this week's up there as well, so you can follow along, play along, and just comment. Let me know what your picks are. So, first, World Series. Last time we spoke, the Dodgers were playing in Game 7. They won Game 7, obviously, and are now playing the Tampa Bay Rays. It's crazy that, just 2 weeks ago, not even, and we're already Game 6 of the World Series. It's going by fast. But who do I think is going to win? I mean, the newsworthy play for the MLB would be to have the Dodgers win, obviously. Coming off LA winning, the Lakers winning the NBA title, obviously the Dodgers winning MLB would just be icing on the cake. You have Kershaw, who's just been chasing that championship. He's played solid in the World Series so far. He finally gets a ring. That would be the sexy term. Tampa Bay winning wouldn't be as sexy, but we always like to root for underdogs. So hopefully they can force a Game 7. We'll get a nice Game 7 World Series title on the line. Winner gets the title. Loser goes home. So we'll see. Currently, Tampa Bay up 1-0 as I'm recording this. All right. Enough about that. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Week 7 recap of the NFL. My goodness. So the 1 o'clock slate seemed to be the better of the games. We had a lot of good games. The 4 o'clock had a little bit of snooze fest of games. So did the 1 o'clock, but I think all around it was either the game was really close, one possession game, 10-point game, really close, coming down to the wire, or it was a complete blowout. So where will we start? Let's start with Thursday night. And before I say anything, right, I've seen a lot of people so far saying, oh, Carson Wentz, he's back. He's leading his team to a victory. Stop. Carson Wentz sucks, and this game proved it to me, right? You look at, he doesn't do anything so special. If you look at the way the Eagles are set up and just how this game should have played out, the Eagles should have won this game by at least 20. If you're telling me that Carson Wentz is Jesus incarnate, then he probably should be doing a little bit better than barely winning against the Giants. The Giants lost this game. Eagles did not win it. Giants lost it. The Giants were Evan Ingram having slightly bigger hands away from winning this game, and you can't argue that with me. He drops the ball. Even if he extends a little bit more, maybe tries to dive for it, I don't think he sold out the way that he should have. He definitely should have probably, laid out for it a little bit more, and they win the game. They get that first down, they win the game. People were saying Daniel Jones tripping on the TD run actually, in hindsight, benefited them, took more time off the clock, and it ended up in a touchdown anyway. So The Eagles didn't win this game. You can't tell me Carson Wentz went down, marched down the field, and won this game for the team. Giants should have won this game. They were up 21-10 with like 6 minutes to go in the game. So you can't tell me that this was all Carson Wentz. He didn't do anything in the first half. They had 7 points in the first quarter and 3 points in the second quarter. They got to come out better than that if you're telling me that Carson Wentz is the way he is. So that's my thoughts on that game. Carson Wentz still sucks. Don't care. There's no way, especially now with the Cowboys losing Andy Dalton and they're just collapsing, there is no way the Eagles can't win the NFC East. The impossible division for a team to just win. It's so insane that they are so shitty that a team that's 2-4-1 is in the lead in the NFC East. That is insane to me. All right, moving on. Let's go to Chargers and Jaguars. This was a good game. Teams in the game aren't very exciting, but there is one highlight that I'd like to point out in this game. Justin Herbert is for real. He's legit. Him staying at Oregon and getting his degree shows he's a smart kid, and shows that the experience that he gained by staying that extra year has translated into the NFL, and I think he is flourishing before our eyes. He is going to be great for years to come. He's not afraid to throw the deep ball. He's not afraid to make mistakes. Yeah, when you're throwing to Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen can catch anything. So I have a hard time believing that if you throw to Keenan Allen 60 times a game, he's going to catch at least 30 balls. Like, it's just like maybe more, maybe 40. But Justin Herbert, he looked accurate down the field. You know, he's mobile. He can get away. He can get out of the pocket, run, catch first downs on his feet. He's just the whole package. And I think LA should be very happy because they have a future quarterback now after Rivers is gone. So great game by the Chargers. They looked phenomenal. Yeah. All right, next game. Chiefs and Broncos. It was all Chiefs. No need to comment on that there. The 49ers and Patriots. I don't even know if I want to even acknowledge that game. Me being a Pats fan. That might have been the worst I've seen the Patriots play in a very, very long time. We didn't get to go over the game last week against the Broncos, but that's definitely a close second. The game against the Broncos just looked like a Broncos red zone drill in practice. Every time I was looking at the game, the Broncos were in the red zone. And it made it even worse of a game because the Broncos couldn't score touchdowns either. So it was just like, who's going to score touchdowns? This is just a field goal battle. So it is what it is. The 49ers are another crumbling team it's been unfortunate for them just with injuries. I think they lost Raheem Mostert again. Garoppolo isn't 100%. Kittle, I don't think is ever 100%. Bosa's out for the year, obviously. And then it's just tough for them. And then for them to go in and just rout the Patriots like that, I think gave them a lot of confidence. Cam Newton looked terrible. He looked like the old Cam Newton. I don't know what happened. It was the worst I've seen him play, probably since the one of the two games he played last year for Carolina. And it's the worst game I've seen the Patriots play in probably my lifetime. That was a terrible game. That's all I got to say about that. Buccaneers and Raiders. The Buccaneers absolutely shit on the Raiders. Wasn't even close contest from the beginning, really. I mean, from the gate, the Buccaneers were after it. Tom Brady, almost 400 yards, 5 total touchdowns. It's insane. And on top of that, we get Antonio Brown signing with the Buccaneers for 1 year, up to $2.5 million. This shows to me that Brady the rumor that we heard that Brady and Belichick really did not want Antonio Brown leaving New England was absolutely true, because Tom Brady was able to talk Bruce Arians into getting. I think remember in the summer when there were rumors floating around that AB was going to go to the Bucs, and Bruce Arians was like, absolutely not. We're not, interested in that. And then we start hearing rumors these past weeks that AB's going to sign with the Seahawks. He's been visiting with the Seahawks. And then out of nowhere, he goes, yeah, they're visiting with the Buccaneers. And then about 2 hours later, Adam Schefter's like, oh, yeah, no, he's going to sign with the Buccaneers. And it was just like something totally out of left field, because you look at, he was supposed to go to the Seahawks like the whole time. And then Adam Schefter sends a tweet, oh, he's going to the Buccaneers. I think everybody was taken off guard by that. What do I expect from Antonio Brown at the Bucs? I mean, I have high expectations. You talk about a guy who was a Hall of Fame wide receiver, who has virtually almost every wide receiver record that you can have in terms of yards, catches, what have you. But, I mean, you now have Gronkowski, Ronald Jones, solid running back, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, all solid receivers. I guess Chris Godwin's going to have to be the one to sacrifice some of the touches. I mean, Mike Evans the past few weeks hasn't really done much. I think he had like only 2 catches on Sunday, which is just insane for them scoring 45 points, and he's not really involved. Scotty Miller had 6 receptions, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. That's insane. But yeah, I would just expect Chris Godwin to diminish some of his output, because you got to make room for Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown demands a lot of room. And, if he can keep his head on straight, which, I mean, is what we said when he went to the Patriots. If he could keep his head on straight, he'd be fine. Wasn't able to do it. Got kicked off the team just after 1 game. So we'll see. I think this go-around is going to be much different. I think he's going to be focused. You haven't seen him really on Twitter and Instagram and social media really boasting about, the Antonio Brown brand. But this time around is going to be different. I think it's going to be more business. And, the Buccaneers are a heavy favorite for the Super Bowl in my mind. They look all around like just a really good team. They play bully ball on defense. They're not afraid to come after you. Derek Carr got hit many times on Sunday. They're not afraid. Packers and Texans. I feel bad for the Texans. I really do, because last week we said, or 2 weeks ago, we had said that Bill O'Brien leaving was the absolute best thing for that team. He was the cancer of that team. They went out and they played a really hard game against the Titans, almost won. And then this week they just had a dismal performance, had 0 points in the first half. I don't know. They just didn't look good. And they turned it on a bit in the second half, but by that point, the Packers were long gone. So they played better without Bill O'Brien, but they still got some work to do. I think this was a real test for them to see where they were at after the post-Bill O'Brien era, Romeo Crennel era. But they still have a lot of work to do. They're 1-6. Playoff hopes are almost 0 at this point. So we'll see what they do at the end of the year. I think definitely you're seeing the effects of losing DeAndre Hopkins. Will Fuller's been playing great. But, just the fact that you lost DeAndre Hopkins, one of the top receivers in the NFL, that he's proving in Arizona. So that's just insane to me. Lions and Falcons. This was one of the weirder games that I've ever seen personally. I've never seen a team lose a game because they accidentally score a touchdown. It's 16-14 Lions. Todd Gurley takes the ball, has a clear shot at the end zone, and he tries to do what classic Todd Gurley would do when he was on the Rams and just down it at the 1 to let the clock run. and they would let the clock run down to get a field goal and win the game ultimately, or get a touchdown with almost no time on the clock. So instead, he realizes it a little too late. Ball crosses the goal line. They go up. Lions get the ball back. They go down, and so then there was another weird play where they Matt Stafford throws a ball to Kenny Golladay. It's right around, I think, the 10-yard line, something like that. They go up and they try to spike it with like 3 seconds left or something like that. The Falcons are rushing onside or trying to get onside, whatever. And DeAndre Swift like falls, and they hike the ball and he spikes it. And it's like, how's that not like either an offsides or a false start? Like, I don't know which one, or incorrect formation or something. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. It turns out, he throws a touchdown pass to Hawkinson. They're tied at that point, 22-22. They get an unsportsmanlike conduct on the play, so they move the extra point back 15 yards. Matt Prater is just automatic, and he nails it. They win the game with zeros on the clock, all because Todd Gurley accidentally scored a touchdown. It's insane. That was one of the most insane games I've ever seen. Next on the docket, what do we got? Let's go to the Ohio Bowl. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns. It was looking grim there in the beginning for the Browns. First of all, losing OBJ, which we later found out was a torn ACL. He's out for the year. Heartbreaking news if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. But the Browns came out to play. Cleveland was up, or Cincinnati was up. Joe Burrow was playing great. Everything was going good. Then Baker Mayfield took over the game. I mean, that was the first time I think I've seen him do that in a long time, where he took over a game and was like, no, we're not losing. And I think that's encouraging if you're a Browns fan, even though you lost OBJ. But they win it at the end on a late touchdown. Yeah, I mean, that's it. And another thing along to go with Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow has been amazing. I mean, he threw 406 yards for 3 touchdowns in this game. The guy's for real. You know what I mean? I had my doubts, obviously, when you see a quarterback go that high in the draft. Like, you see him go number 1 overall. Most of the time, they're a bust. Joe Burrow is not a bust. He will be very good for a very long time. And it's great to see just 2 rookie quarterbacks just absolutely killing it for their teams, not shying away from the spotlight. But at the same time, Justin Herbert had a interview on the Colin Cowherd show, and he had talked about how it's different playing in front of, like, not in front of fans. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, it must be like a little bit of a load off to not have the fans there. I mean, the fans and the cheering and the away games, like, that's part of the psychological aspect of the game. And that part can be tough for rookies, especially who are, new and learning. But yeah, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, they have a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because they don't have to play in front of, 80,000 roaring fans, booing their name and booing on third down when they're trying to drive and get a drive going. So credit to them. I mean, they're for real. I'm not taking that away from either one of them, but it'll be interesting to see next year if we do get fans back in there to see how they do perform under that sort of pressure. But next up, Panthers and Saints. That was just like it was like a close game, but it was so boring to me. Like, second half was so boring. Steelers and Titans. This was another really good game. Without the voice crack, sorry. Let me get some water. We're talking another really good game here. These two teams are legit. This to me looks like an AFC Championship preview. I don't know about you guys. or just a playoff preview, but this is going to be exciting when we do get there because I do think we're going to see this. Steelers are now 6-0. Titans are 5-1. Great game. We've seen this before. Like, this is what the Steelers would have been had Ben not gotten hurt last year, because Ben has just been playing out of his mind. Their whole offense has just been buzzing. On top of their, tough defense that is, standard when it comes to Steelers teams. This was their strong suit coming into the season, and it's still their strong suit. But, the Steelers came to party. They came to party. And Titans almost brought it back in the end, but Steelers, way to go. 6-0, baby. I think their first time in I don't know how many years, but the last time they did start 6-0, they won the Super Bowl, so that's a pretty good stat. Bills and Jets. These are the points from the Bills and Jets. Bills came out flat. Jets were up 10-6 at halftime. Then remembered that they were tanking for Trevor. So then they were like, "Oh guys, we gotta play like shit again." And the Bills just stomped them in the second half. So nothing really to take away new from this game. Jets suck. Bills are really good. They just came out flat because they were playing the Jets. End of story. Now the Cowboys and the Washington football team, another ugly game. Cowboys just didn't get anything going. Dalton gets hurt, has a concussion, has to get clear before he gets back. Who knows how long that's going to be, depending on how bad the concussion was. It's looking grim for the Cowboys. They've had some injuries on the defensive side. Obviously, Dak going down, and now Dalton going down. I don't even know who their third string is. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't know. It's looking shaky for sure. They're going to have to do something. Obviously, Mike McCarthy is not working out. I really didn't think he was the guy in the beginning, or like when we said this last season on the podcast, and I still don't think he's the guy. Now the players are revolting, saying the coaches aren't doing their jobs, and obviously it doesn't all fall on Mike McCarthy. Obviously, Patrick Nolan has something to do with that. The other coaches, it's a team effort, right? And ultimately, like, the coaches, and I said this before and I'll say it again. Bad coaching can't overcome good players, but good players can overcome bad coaching. And I don't even know if I said that right. We'll cut that out. Anyway, all I'm saying is the bad coaching will never work with good players, but good coaches can coach bad players to wins. You look at what Miami's doing. Miami doesn't have the best roster. They have Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? They have him Fitzmagic. And they're making it work, and they're winning, and they're turning that culture around. It's quite the opposite. I mean, it's polar opposites what the Jets and the Miami Dolphins are doing. You look at the Jets, they hired Adam Gase. Hasn't really worked out. They get Le'Veon Bell. They get Sam Darnold. Everything's looking up. Adam Gase goes in there, and now it's just been like, Sam Darnold's not the guy. They released Le'Veon Bell, who wasn't like, it's like, let's look at our problem. Is it our coach is really bad? Our quarterback's really bad. Let's get rid of the running back that we overpaid. Makes no sense. And it just shows that the ownership and front office of the Jets does not know what they're doing. They can't look at the problem and find a solution. They looked at the wrong thing and came to a bad solution, and then they gave the Chiefs Le'Veon Bell pretty much. So you gave a good player to a really good team, and it's like, come on. What are you doing? Le'Veon Bell was not the problem. Le'Veon Bell was not the reason that you haven't won a game this year. It's clearly your coach. Like, your coach can't coach, and your quarterback can't play. So now are we tanking for Trevor Lawrence? Or are you trying to get, Le'Veon Bell's contract off your payroll? Like, I don't really understand the motive there. And it just proves to me that it was just terrible. It'll be curious to see what the Cowboys do this offseason if they clean house. And I've said this from the beginning as well. As long as Jerry Jones is there, I don't see the Cowboys having long-term success. He gets in the way too much. And we've said this from the beginning. And now it's his time to get in the way a little bit and, put his team in a position to win again like he had a couple years ago. But he gets in the way. His ego gets in the way. He's got to be in the spotlight. And it's just toxic for the team. So, Cowboys, not looking good for you. Sure, let's go to what I thought was the best game of the weekend, and that's the Seahawks and Cardinals game. From an entertainment standpoint, it was the best game of the weekend by far. You just look at how crazy it was back and forth. You got Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. You got Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett. Like, we got Budda Baker picking off Russell Wilson for a clear pick six, and DK Metcalf running 22 miles an hour to catch him down. We had that. We had overtime. We had controversy. It's just, what more do you want from a football game? And here's the thing about the Cardinals. Cardinals are here, man. The Cardinals, and I told Sal and Antonio this from the beginning. The Cardinals are in a win now scenario. They want to win now, and they've got their quarterback. They got a piece in DeAndre Hopkins, who right now is the number one wide receiver in the NFL. So they're real. Their defense is real. That secondary is tough. I think DK Metcalf only had 2 catches for like 27 yards or something like that. Like, they were able to contain the best wide receiver. Now, Tyler Lockett had himself a phenomenal day. We're talking 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, 15 receptions. They could not stop Tyler Lockett for whatever reason. Patrick Peterson and Budda Baker were on him multiple times. They just couldn't stop him. And it made no sense to me. Yet they can stop DK Metcalf, who's like twice or thrice his size. Kyler Murray is incredible. Kyler Murray, you just look at these young stars that we have in the NFL, and it just makes me so happy because that we have entertainment for years to come. You look at Justin Herbert, you look at Joe Burrow, you look at Kyler Murray. It's insane. You look at Josh Allen. Like, we have these polarizing quarterbacks that are great for the game and are winning. You know what I mean? Like, they're winning. Josh Allen's winning. Kyler Murray's winning. And these are teams that haven't been good in the past years, and they went in and turned it around. Kyler Murray went in there and instantly turned Arizona around. Now, I give that a lot to Cliff Kingsbury. I'm not denying that. He is a huge part of what's going on. But at the same time, Kyler Murray has been as effective as you can be. When it comes to him running down the field, he's so fast. He's small. His legs move so fucking fast. He's able to roll out of the pocket. He knows when the pressure's coming. But at the same time, can deliver a ball downfield to DeAndre Hopkins. And he can, fit balls into tight windows. And he can, do all these things because of that baseball background. And he can just sling it. So it's very incredible what his skill set is. And I'm very excited to see him grow as a quarterback. And Arizona's for real, man. Seahawks are 5-1 now. Cardinals are 5-2. They're right there. They're in the mix, man. And I obviously think they're going to make the playoffs. I said that from the beginning. They're right there. Now let's go to another boring game. Monday night. Chicago Bears versus Los Angeles Rams. This was another boring game. Los Angeles was in control the whole time. Chicago really didn't do much. Nick Foles didn't even have a touchdown pass. And like I said 2 weeks ago, the Bears are probably the worst. I said 5-1 team. They're the worst 5-2 team now. I don't know how they keep winning. And it's just like, and my answer was Nick Foles. Nick Foles couldn't do it last night, and it was just Jared Goff all the way. Jared Goff really played tremendously well last night. And, the Rams are pretty good. Moving on. Let's move on to Week 8. All right? Let's go through some of what we have going on for Week 8. Let me get there. We have Falcons-Panthers. I think the Panthers will win that game. I think it's a no-brainer. Patriots and Bills. We'll get into the pick 3 later on. But Bills are minus 3.5. Over's 43. I would take the under for sure. Patriots can't score a touchdown worth of shit. And the Bills came out flat this week, so we'll see what happens next week. Rams and Dolphins. Dolphins coming off a bye. Tua is going to be the starter. This is just incredible to me. Another preview for the pick 3 later on. We have Colts and Lions. Colts looked good in the beginning. Phillip Rivers is still Phillip Rivers. Matt Stafford is still Matt Stafford. We'll see. I mean, Lions are 3-3 now. They're looking to get into that plus 500 column, so we'll see. Titans and Bengals. I think this will be a really good game. I think people are probably going to chalk this up to a Titans blowout. I think the Bengals keep it close and they make it a really interesting game, but we'll see. Raiders and Browns. Could be another really good game. We'll see how the Raiders bounce back to their embarrassing loss to the Bucs. We'll see how the Browns respond to losing Odell, and at the same time, Baker Mayfield coming off a really good game. So we'll see how that goes. Vikings and Packers. Vikings not doing so hot this year, coming off a bye against the Packers. This might be a game, and I'll put out my prediction right now. This might be a game where the Packers lose a step and they come out lazy, they come out flat. Vikings might throw Aaron Rodgers around a little bit. He might get pissed. The Vikings, I'll say it right now, the Vikings might win this game. And we'll remember that for the next episode. Jets and Chiefs, don't care. Chiefs are minus 19.5. It should be 25.5. Chiefs win that game big. Game of the week is going to be the Steelers and Ravens. This is just a great matchup on paper. You have a very solid defense with the Steelers going up against Lamar Jackson and that, ever-changing offense of the Baltimore Ravens. And then you have the Steelers with their offense and what they can do against the Ravens' good defense. So we'll see. Chargers and Broncos. This should be interesting. We have Drew Lock versus Justin Herbert. Two young guys going at it. I think the Chargers win that game. And Broncos are plus 3. So Broncos are the underdogs. So we'll see. Saints and Bears. This might be an ugly-ass game. Saints haven't really done much to impress me. Bears haven't done much to impress me given what last night's game looked like. So, I mean, chalk it up. It's like a pick at this point for me, but I guess I'll pick the Saints. 49ers and Seahawks. This might be a good chance for the Seahawks to bounce back after, losing a game like that. So, I'd take the Seahawks minus 3. Cowboys and Eagles. My goodness. What a matchup against two winning franchises, right? Eagles are minus 7.5. This is another preview for my pick 3. 7.5 might be too many points because not only do these teams have really bad offenses now with the Cowboys on their third-string quarterback and the Eagles don't really have much going on. Zach Ertz was out. I don't know what his status is if he'll be playing in this game. They don't have Miles Sanders. I don't know if he's out again, but we'll see. I don't think these teams can really score touchdowns like that, but I think it'll be a close game and it'll just be a crapshoot. It'll be like an 18-13 game, something like that. And then we have the Monday night game. Oh my God, the Cowboys and Eagles are the Sunday night game. That sucks. That actually sucks. Wow. Okay. Monday night. Buccaneers at Giants. Another shitty game. I don't even understand why the Giants are. It's plus 10.5. Why is it plus 10.5? The Buccaneers just blew out the Raiders, and they're the best offense in football right now. It should be more than that. It should be like 15. The over-under is 46. I'm going to take the over, truthfully, because I think the Buccaneers could score 46 points themselves. They scored 45 this week, so yeah. So that's it for the Week 8 preview. Sorry. Now let's get to the pick 3. What everyone came here for. Number 1. Drum roll, please. Miami plus 4. Here's why, right? You look at how Miami has played. They have played so tough. They've played so tough. They've been on top of it the entire year. Do I think Tua starting changes anything? No. I think if he's doing bad in the beginning, they'll just put Fitzpatrick right in because it's not like Fitzpatrick's hurt. So you're not really risking it, right? If Tua comes out and he's not looking hot and he's shaky and whatnot, just put Fitzpatrick back in there. It's a simple solution. So I think Miami might win this game, and I'm riding them like I always have. I might become a Dolphins fan just for the simple fact that I just love them so much on this podcast. But next up, we have Buffalo versus the Patriots. Now, I'm breaking a cardinal rule here for me. Something that I never do and have never done on this podcast is bet with or against my own team. But this time is extremely different because it's either I'm getting trapped and baited really hard, or this is the freest money of all time. It's Buffalo minus 3.5. Why is it 3.5? The Patriots haven't scored. The Patriots scored 6 points last week, and then against the Broncos, let me pull it up here. They scored 12 points. So they scored 18 points in the past 2 weeks. And now they're only playing better competition in the Buffalo Bills. So 3.5 points? 3.5 points. I think this has got to be the freest money of all time. So you know what? I'm just going to stick with it. Buffalo minus 3.5. And now I alluded to it before. My third pick is Dallas plus 7.5. I think these two teams are just dumpster fires. I think 7.5 is too many points for the Eagles to win by. So I'll take Dallas plus 7.5. Do I think they're going to win? No. Do I think it's going to be an ugly game? Yes. Do I think either team scores more than 20 points? No. I think it's like a 16-13, 16-10, 18-13 type ordeal. Yeah. And we'll find out on Sunday, I guess. But that is it for me. It was great talking to you guys. We're back. We'll, put out episodes more consistently. Subscribe to our YouTube if you haven't already. Just go click that subscribe button, turn on those notifications for me, and then follow us on Instagram, Underdog Sports Podcasts. Very simple. Just go hit that blue button and come and comment on all the posts. I'd love to hear it from you. And yeah, that's it for me, folks. I will see you next week.